Good afternoon. You are listening to the Fourth Estate on Radio Brunel, Brunel's University student-run station. And it's been a very long week for all of us here at Brunel University. I think we've all had been a crunch week of assessments and assignments due. It's been really tiring, and I don't even know what to say anymore about the week. Other than I can't wait for the weekend from my bed. But yeah, as always, we've got our show today, the Fourth Estate, about the news and top issues and news of the week, talking about the front pages, headlines, and other stuff as well that caught our eye in the news. As always, we're joined by a lineup of wonderful and exciting and energetic guests today, who obviously had plenty of sleep last night. Today we are joined by... Say your names, guys. I don't even know your names. I don't even know your names anymore.
Jim. Do we need to introduce ourselves with occupation as well?
Up to you, because we're always all about consistency.
That means Alex wants to introduce himself with an occupation.
Yeah,
I love introducing myself with something that I don't actually do. Okay, today I will tell the truth for you, Jim.
Will you really?
I will tell the truth for you. Hi, I'm Alex, and I've been drinking.
That is not good.
That's
not a good look.
Hi guys, I'm Federica and I'm gonna drink tonight.
And Sarah, what's the other?
Hello everybody, I'm Sarah.
And I'm a drinker.
I confess, yeah.
That's all it's going to be.
I have been known to dabble.
Dabble in the little sins of alcohol.
Dabble in the dribble.
As we begin our start of the show, we talk about the front page headlines of the week. Talking about today's headlines with The Independent, as this week is all about autumn statement, with George Osborne releasing his autumn statement on Wednesday at I think about 12:30 p.m. talking about him planning his entire budget for the next year, I believe. So, starting with the budget, the public will have to go on a 360 billion borrowing binge to make George Osborne's deficit reduction plans add up, as The Independent has found through analysis. So, a lot of things. It's a really huge issue, the autumn statement. It's a lot of different stuff caring about. And we talked about it last week about NHS. He needs 2 billion refunded into the NHS. So, I don't know where to start with the autumn statement. It's just there's so many stuff to talk about.
Federica, we're all feeling pretty mad about the
let's go into the masters thing. That's going to be a big discussion.
So if you don't know, George Osborne has said that postgrad students, I think starting from next year, are entitled to a £10,000 postgraduate loan to undertake.
I think it's 2016. Sorry,
too late for you.
Yeah.
I thought it was next September. Is it not?
I
haven't actually.
I think I read 2016 to 17, but I dabble in drinking. So
dabble in drinking.
Yeah, I've been drinking.
We really don't dabble in drinking.
I wouldn't trust any of us right now.
No, neither would I.
I wouldn't have been included anyway, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's just interesting because obviously it's come right after. I mean, a few years right after the increase of undergraduate fees to £9,000 a year. So now what's all this happening? What do you make of that?
I personally think it's a very clever strategy employed by the Tories to regain the student vote, which they know that they've lost.
Yeah.
But he's not fooling me.
No. He can fool you because you've already paid your student loans, so there is no fooling to be done.
The joke is on me, actually.
Well, I suppose who would you rather be in debt to? Would you rather be in debt to a bank or the Tories?
That's a tricky
Do you
question,
have
actually.
to give
What's
back
worse?
the loan once?
Of course, with interest.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like the instant.
But it would be a lot less than the current bank repayments per month. I think you'd be paying it off over a far longer period of time, probably until you're dead. And yeah, I guess it would just be a small amount added on to your existing student debts if you were doing a master's.
I mean, like now for the international student, it's quite hard asking about a loan, but then once you have to repay the loan back, you can do it just if you have a work and if your salary is a certain amount.
I think it's over.
And then after a certain amount of years as well, like it just.
I think it's over 20,000 in this country. Can anyone confirm that?
I don't know actually. I don't want to.
You guys should know this kind of stuff. This is your money that's going down.
I tried to apply once, but I had a problem with Italians and English authority that with the document. Yeah, racist.
That's the joys of student loans, Jim. Is that you don't have to care. They do it all for you. And I didn't even know that there was interest on student loans until like last year.
I didn't know that until quite recently.
That was life changing.
Yeah,
when
that was a shocker.
Should have done an apprenticeship.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, obviously, a main thing is with the honest statement about how so far the Tory government has been doing in power and with the coalition as well. So he issues the whole deficit. So Osborne has said that it is falling, but not at the rate he promised a few years ago. And now he proposes new plans to reduce the deficit. But that's hugely reliant on individuals, on households increasing their borrowing. And obviously none of us are quite, well versed in economics and finance. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to...
Yeah, but it has been strongly criticized for this, because everyone is actually asking where it's going to take the money from. And the opinion of the independent inquiry is actually going to take it from this household debt that are supposed to increase. But the economy state is a problem if actually it's going to happen. Because I can't remember the percentage, but it's quite huge.
There is a problem as well with saying that household borrowing needs to be the solution to a problem that was essentially caused by household borrowing. It was mortgages and debt and loans that caused this problem, and to say that this can all be solved by borrowing more money. I believe a lot of experts have actually said that this kind of this economic recovery, we're kind of back in growth now by a fraction of a percentage, we're doing okay now, can't really last, because it is essentially just because interest rates are low and we're borrowing so much that it's going to look like we're doing okay when we'll come to the same problem
That's
again.
exactly what Independent wrote. It was like, Britons have been reducing the level of their unsecured debt relative to their incomes over the past 6 years, and the ratio currently stands at the 37%, but the recent official figures from the Bank of England point turnaround, and that happens in 2006. So we are actually the opposite.
The way I've seen it as well with this is that the Tories have been quite obsessed with the deficit since they came into power. They've constantly been talking about how they're trying to reduce the deficit. And the first thought that came to my mind was, how does the deficit in any real way affect us? Because I've never heard anyone say that the kind of policies that they go for are based around deficit. I don't think that necessarily wins votes. I'm saying that it should be an issue and that you don't want to be borrowing more money than you need to be. But then I think that have you ever heard anyone say that, any of the electorate say that they want to lower the deficit specifically?
I don't think so, because I don't think it's much of a concern at the moment.
Exactly,
I think.
yeah.
I mean, only the issue of the whole US thing with the whole debt limit and the debt ceiling, because they reached a certain point of time where they couldn't increase the borrowing spend without passing through laws in the Senate, and that caused public bodies to close for an entire week in the US. I don't think that's going to happen as well in the UK, purely because I think it's a different system. But you're right. I mean, does anyone really choose their individuals, their MPs, based on deficit levels? It's obviously a huge issue economically, but I mean, I think we're more concerned about how it's going to affect our taxes, how it's going to affect our public bodies and public services.
The NHS specifically, that's
Yeah.
the sort of thing that people always... But I actually had to look up recently how the deficit actually affects the country, because people constantly use the word, constantly talking about the deficit, and you think, if they're going to talk about it that much, it must have some sort of effect on the country. But then no one ever explains that. No one ever would say... George Osborne has never said, this is what bringing the deficit down will actually do.
George Osborne probably never said it, because, I mean, like, you're not going to gain vote saying that you have a deficit. If you invest in something, you have to cut somewhere else. That's not, like, you don't need to be an expert about economy to know that. Obviously, everyone knows that. But the question is, where he's going to cut? And what they suppose is, like, that obviously they're going to cut in services, so NHS, schools, and this kind of services.
The kind of services you don't want them to be cutting, really,
exactly.
basically. Yeah.
This kind of services that actually are not going to help you to gain vote if you say openly that you're going to cut it.
Yeah. So, Alex, what did you find about the deficit and how it affects the government and the services?
It took a YouTube video to explain this to me, actually. That's how I get all my education, from YouTube. You should all try it. It's a lot cheaper.
Pass me a link.
It's a lot cheaper than university. You don't need 30 grand of debt to look at a YouTube video. But basically, the amount of money that the government spent on public services, such as the NHS, military, things like that, are far more money than the government have coming in from taxes, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim,
Wow.
you're more clued up on this sort of thing than I
Am I
am.
really?
So
But I
please-
think that every government is working in this way. Just
no,
Yeah.
that is
It's
down.
not
Especially
just-
America is in what's it?
Huge.
America is
It's
in,
like
isn't
in
it? A
trillion,
trillion,
it's in
yeah,
trillion.
something like that. And then basically the deficit, which no one ever takes the time to explain you. Osborne, sort it.
Osborne, please explain us the
Please.
deficit.
We need a YouTube video of George Osborne. Just a simple thing, maybe with some animations. It might be quite nice. But the deficit is essentially the difference between the amount of money that the government have coming in and the expenditure on things like the welfare state, how much basically they're spending on things. So trying to bring the deficit down is trying to match up incoming with outgoing.
Outgoing.
Yeah, with outgoing. So
Oh.
That's
Oh, when
why
you
the
put it like
question of
that.
everyone, if you invest this amount of money, where you're going to take this, because they're not going to appear from whatever.
military spending never seems to be one of the things that they really focus on either. It's always like the NHS need to sort themselves out and things like that. But I think military spending should have gone down essentially, shouldn't it? Seeing as there's been mass withdrawals from certain countries that were fighting and things like that. You always
Yeah.
think.
Because I think it was in October they pulled out all troops from Afghanistan and Iraq as well, I think. So yeah, you would expect it to cut down because we're not really going into Syria anywhere yet. You know, it's still quite
Couple of airstrikes.
but that's pretty much it. I mean,
No biggie.
what is it
No
going?
big deal.
What is it going down to? We're gonna cut to a quick song. Any requests from the three of you?
Christmas song, please, Jim.
What kind of song do you want
It's
to
the
start
first thing I've said in about 5 minutes.
I like the old. I like the 80s ones.
with? Which one?
Any of the 80s rock bands.
I
that
feel
do a
like
good Christmas song,
I
what
was
have we
thinking
got?
something quite mellow because
thinking
we're all
something-
sleepy, but whatever.
Yeah, but we're
you
going to
want.
pass out if we don't.
That is very true.
What
We've all
sort,
had a bit.
what sort of heavy metal you got? We need something. You got any Black Sabbath
Heavy
Christmas songs?
metal.
Something rock and roll like Mariah Carey would do the trick.
You just ruined this whole show.
That is horrible.
Go on, let's go for Mariah Carey. I'm a big fan of hers.
It's hard, Mariah Carey. I mean, you think she's a really good singer nowadays, but not really anymore. She's kind of...
Oh, shots fired, James.
Shots
Shots fired.
Yeah, so the classic, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey.
Yes.
Good afternoon. The time is now 4:17 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, and you're listening to the Hypocrite State on Radio Brunel. Before we cut to a quick discussion, let's catch up a bit on the autumn statement a bit. So the IFS has confirmed that the scale of cuts to departmental budgets and local government will reduce the role of the state to a point where it would have changed beyond recognition. The government spending watchdog, the Office for Budget Responsibilities, also known as OBR, has itself said on the day of the statement that the cuts set out into the Treasury assumptions would see the state reduced to its smallest size relative to the GDP for 80 years. The IFS has also said claims that the bulk of the cuts had been implemented, saying only 35 billion of cuts had already happened, with 55 billion yet to come. The coalition uses a different period and focuses on cuts already announced as opposed to implemented. The IFS estimates that 10 years of cuts from 2010 to 2020 will leave schools, the NHS, and international aid 6.5% better off, but other departments 41% down in order to achieve an average of 22.2% overall reduction in spending. So, bringing us back to the main aspect of the show, we am joined today by Alex, Federica, and Sarah. So, obviously, beyond just the issue of the statement, it's also the coverage of the statement, with George Osborne criticizing the BBC for having quite a negative and biased reporting of the statement.
I think he called it totally hyperbolic coverage, Jim.
Yeah, it did.
Indeed, he did.
What a Tory phrase.
Tory phrase. So he accuses them of conjuring up images from George Orwell's 1937 book, The Road to Wigan Pier, which described the poverty and mass unemployment of working-class Northerners. Now, for those who are familiar with George Orwell's books, he's also known for his book 1984. Am I right?
Yes,
You
you
are
are.
right.
Am I right,
You
ladies?
didn't. You
You
didn't
are
get the
right.
book wrong.
I did not get it wrong. So yeah, well, the whole dystopian view of the world.
It's a good book. Have you guys read it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I
a
did.
classic. James, have you read it?
Well, I haven't.
Read it.
I just found a piece of gum in my mouth. But yeah.
Jesus, a serious thing.
Unprofessional.
I know.
Anyway, Osborne attacked the BBC, and the judge of the leading public spending and analyst came after, actually confirming this the view of the BBC. Now, probably the fact of comparing the John Osborne idea with a future of disaster for the UK is a bit too much, and Orwell is a strong metaphor to use for the BBC that, I mean, like, is used to be a bit more balanced. But at the same time, I don't think, like, Osborne could have done anything else. Obviously, he just defend his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a bad idea. The BBC could be right, and Osborne could have just made terrible decisions. I mean, I'm not saying he has.
It was.
Yeah, I don't know what
it happened
what
on
effect is it,
BBC Radio 4 today, and the presenter compared the reform with the Book of Doom, and then again in BBC Newsnight, and both of the program have been criticised by Osborne and the Tories.
Aren't we supposedly making less money than we were last year, though, generally?
Well, according to his statement, he said that we are growing as an economy compared to the Eurozone and France and Germany, both which are members of the European Union, which are quite big members of the European Union. He said that we are growing and the deficit is falling, employment is rising, but unemployment is decreasing, which is good. But you never know. So, Evan Davies, presenter of BBC Two's Newsright, said that you have to go back to the depression of 1930s to find a crisis comparable to the one we are in. It is one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Heavy words. Depression in 1930s.
In life, I really want to do a bungee jump, and I would also like to live through an economic recession. Once-in-a-lifetime experiences there.
Absolutely.
Nice.
You have to
You
have to do those two things.
You can just vote Tories, so...
It's annoying that we were too young to actually enjoy the boom years that came before the recession as well. If only we were a couple of years older, we would have got a few extra toys when we hit Christmas.
We got the boom, didn't we? In 2000, we got the massive boom of the internet, the technology.
No, I mean the financial boom that was sort of like 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we missed very bad haircuts, so, you know, win some, lose some.
Right.
That's subjective.
Sorry, Jim, we're veering off topic. Let's talk more about George Osborne.
Anyway, going back to the BBC, the Tories, the Conservative MPs, wrote actually to the BBC Trust chairman a complaint about obviously the pattern that they used, and the chairman answered saying that to seek assurances that in the remaining 6 months until the general election, because this is the main problem, the election are coming, your coverage will demonstrate the impartiality and balance that the public and indeed the BBC charter demand.
The BBC have always been accused of being biased to some party or another. I know that they've been accused. They've been accused by someone that we know, actually, that they were biased in the coverage of the Scottish referendum and then this one as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's always an issue with with news. You report one thing, people will say other thing as well.
I mean, objectivity is quite hard to achieve, and
Yeah.
I think that the BBC has a high concern about it.
One of the more unbiased news outlets, I would say. I would say they're not too bad at all. With seeing as they have no corporate agenda, anything like that. They have no one that they specifically have to pander to.
No.
They can be more neutral, and I think often they are more neutral than some of the others.
So, one senior Tory MP has said that the risk that unless the BBC was unscrupulously fair in its reporting, it could drive voters into the arms of Labour and even find its future funding arrangements affected. So, first thing first, reading these comments from BBC Radio 4 and BBC 2 Newsnight, do any of you find yourself driven to the arms of Labour, or have you already been there before?
I don't think it would take the BBC to persuade me. You know,
No.
I think the majority of educated Britons can make up their own mind, regardless of what the corporation are telling them to do. But
The corporation.
the corporation.
Corporation.
It
Sounds
some
really
kind of-
Very,
Orwellian.
very Orwellian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are we at war with now? Does anyone remember?
Sorry,
Who are we at war with now? Does anyone remember? Have they changed it recently?
could have done.
I haven't a clue.
But yeah, I mean, surely you can assume enough of people that watch the news to think that
But
someone would say, okay, that was a bit partisan, maybe they were going a bit
Yeah.
harsh, or okay, no, that was a fair comment. You have to assume a certain amount of understanding.
I
of
mean,
people.
I do agree that in this case, probably the BBC has been, not completely balanced, because it's a really strong thing to say. But I don't want to extend this episode
But
to the entire coverage of the BBC.
I completely believe that if it were Labour doing the autumn statement, that they would have been equally as critical. You know, if you are in power, then you have to be subject to criticism by all forms of media. That's the whole point. That's how democracy works. And I think that accusing the BBC of bullying was slightly hyperbolic.
It's kind of saying
itself.
that
Yeah.
Osborne is playing the pros side and the BBC was just finding the cons.
corporation was the villain. Yeah. No, I don't think that's really the case.
And the Today programme has always compared it to Road to Wigan Pier. The Today programme has always balanced kind of comment and news as well. It's never been specifically news. The thing is, news organisations are allowed to make comment as long as they specifically mention it as comment before, as long as you're not saying.
In fact, that didn't happen at today's program. It happened at 4 Today's, and then he had an interview in the Today's program where actually the BBC claimed to have done a balanced coverage because Osborne had the way to answer the accuse that he received before. So yeah, that's what the BBC said.
That sounds like Osborne got a bit sensitive about it, and
obviously the Tories were really happy reacting. The Mail said that there is a war now against monetary BBC. Wow.
They would. I mean, I don't. They would say that they kind of are in competition.
Open warfare broke out between Tory ministers and the BBC last night over its doom-laden coverage of spending cuts. That's the open.
Oh yeah,
Doom-laden.
That sounds like Orwell's next book, actually.
So, but presenter Andy Smith, I think, is not the first time he's ever been savaged by the Tories. 2 years ago, he was involved in a row outside Downing Street with Craig Oliver, the Prime Minister's Director of Communications. Mr. Oliver attacked Smith for his partial coverage of a row involving Jeremy Hunt, then, at the time, Culture Secretary, and his handling of Rupert Murdoch's bid to buy BCIB. So, I mean, I just think it's the job of the BBC to ask tough questions, to criticise what they've done, because who else will, So, rather than saying, oh, you've been hurting my feelings, suck it up and learn from it, People have got a right to say things bad about you, and you can take it however you want.
Osborne hasn't particularly justified what he said. He's just kind of acted defensively based on what the BBC said. He hasn't justified what he said. He was a bit like, ow.
Well, he didn't even he didn't answer the question of where you're going to take the money actually out of. So he didn't answer to that. He just said, I'm going to spend this, and this, but no answer about it.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like an offended child rather than a chancellor who is actually justifying his decisions.
He is acting like a petulant child who's not getting his way. And
he's a bit like
not happy about it. But as
long
the
words
Chancellor of the Exchequer, he needs to gain a bit more sanity.
You need a bit more. The BBC annoy everyone at some point in their life. They've just got to get over it.
If he truly believes in his policies, then he should be able to fight for them, which he hasn't really.
No, he just answered that was unfair.
Maybe he's never read Orwell. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a bit. I knew I should have read.
Why.
I knew I should have read that in school.
Unfair, but if he's going to fight for what he believes in, then he needs to do so. And he can't just get away with saying, "Oh, they're bullying me," because that doesn't really cut it.
Yeah, surely you're not supposed to be bullied by the media. If you're a politician, you're supposed to be able to
I
deal with
think
it.
you are supposed to be bullied by the media, but I think you're also supposed to be able to deal with it.
Refer to it as bullying, yeah.
It's quite funny, this comment of the Tories MP and Percy that said that the comparison with the road to Wigan Pier, how can it be appropriate to compare 2014 to 1930s when there was no NHS, no socialised housing and no welfare state? That's the problem. It just got the point. It definitely got the point.
It's just silly. I mean, if you're worried about people bullying you, how about you make yourself unbullyable? It's like if you just be not unbullyable.
Just get down the gym, Osborne. Sort yourself out.
Yeah, Anyway, we're going to go to our next Christmas song. This
Hooray!
is Last Christmas by Jimmy Eat
Oh.
World. The time is now 4:36 p.m. on this Friday. We are half an hour into our show at the Fourth Estate on Radio Brunel's University student-run station. And so far we've talked about the autumn statement. That's a heavy, I cannot stress enough, heavy topic because it's so much economics, so much money, and it's a hard thing to cover. So obviously, after that heavy topic, we're going to move to something a bit more lighter, something a bit more interesting. So we're talking about Russell Brand, obviously. Way lighter. The Sun this morning has led with the headlines of Brand, The Nation Speaks. So they did a poll and they found that 68% of individuals say he is a hypocrite and 64% say he's not funny. I don't understand where those numbers add up because 68 and 64 do not add up to 100%.
We're not on.
We're not on.
Who the voters are.
Now you are now.
Yeah, I think they were probably polling people outside a kind of anti-brand convention of some kind, weren't they?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Sun to be polling people inside the Sun newsroom as well. There's a likelihood that they just asked a couple of people that work for the Sun, be like, "What do you think of Brand?" No, I don't like him.
Guys, funny tweet from Have I Got News For You. The Sun labels Russell Brand a hypocrite for supporting poor while rich. Tomorrow, paper attacks Angolan doctors for not having Ebola.
Yeah, I just love all the headlines.
That's the same campaign. There is a
good.
campaign with the hashtag The Sun Logic, and even the Guardian columnist Owen Jones in and said, "Stop talking about combating starvation. You have a fridge full of food. Hypocrite."
Funny.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah, that's the Sun Logic.
It's
Welcome.
You know what? I think we have to admire Brand because he has this platform and he could just be sitting on his arse all day doing very little. He's got enough money.
Which he was doing before.
Yeah, but you know what? He's coming out and he's vocalising his opinions and he's standing up for people who have previously not been stood up for, and I think that we have to admire him for that.
And forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh,
Good
great
classic
film.
movie.
Get
Like
into the Greek,
classic
was it?
breakup movie is Forgetting Sarah
Yeah, it
Marshall.
does make you feel
If
better
you're ever
about
feeling a
that,
little bit
doesn't it?
down, you watch that film, that will cheer you right up. That is relevant, right?
Absolutely.
Well, it can
Yeah,
be. I
I've
don't
never
really,
never
okay.
watched it. Do you want to give me?
Yeah, give us a little, summary.
Do you want to give you the entire
No spoiler, please. No
the
spoilers.
entire synopsis? Oh yeah, are we still
Can't give
are
me
we
the
still
end
doing
straight away.
the spoilers from Interstellar thing? Are we still giving one spoiler a day from
That was
Interstellar?
never
There was
discussed.
a one every show we do one spoiler from
That was
Interstellar.
never discussed. No.
That was an option, wasn't it? No.
Anyway,
Um,
so
Can you explain me about the movie? Come
Yeah.
What, Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Oh.
Okay, a guy
It's a
is going
fine
out with an actress.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe
Sarah
I'm actually
Marshall.
doing this.
yeah, I
on-
can't either.
Go on.
James, how do you feel that this is what your show is coming to?
Anyway, we'll move on, shall we? So the Guardian has headline: "Does the Sun really speak to more people than Russell Brand?" So they did like sort of a sort of data sort of thing, and they found that the Sun sells 1.9 papers a day, according to the latest ABC figures from November. There's a lot more, and the 48,000 copies of Brand's book Revolution has sold up to 22 November, according to Nielsen. However, Brand dwarfs the reaches of the Sun on the majority of the world's social media sites. He has 8.6 million Twitter followers, which is 13 times more than the Sun. He also has 1.2 million more Facebook followers. So,
Smashes
people on
Russell
Facebook.
Brand. He's more influent than the Sun.
yeah.
Yeah, who do you prefer, Russell Brand or the Sun? That's the
Come
real
on.
question. I mean,
I'd buy Russell Brand a million times.
I
more
wasn't
than
actually.
the
I wasn't
Sun.
buying into Russell Brand's whole revolution thing. At first, it was the use of a lot of long words,
I think
he
he
happened
got
to be
swayed.
selling a book at the same time, which seems coincidental. But then, if you're going to put him against the Sun, who do I prefer? Probably Russell Brand. I'm not a huge Sun fan. Some of their puns are okay.
You love puns.
I do love puns,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. That some of the Sun's puns are okay, but
A pun does not make a good paper, okay, Alex?
it makes a good headline.
And a good front page, but it doesn't make actually a good paper.
Exactly.
And I mean, like, how can you really build a front page on a survey that you
That
did
is not
inside
news.
your.
That is not
like,
news.
it's
Do we
not
have any
news.
information about where the poll actually came
No.
from? Do
so
we have?
the poll? Apparently, once I pull it up, so it's an exclusive YouGov poll.
So they actually
You
paid
YouGov
money to
sent
YouGov
poll?
to do this poll.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Wow.
I don't know who they because they don't
They
give much
did it really.
Is there not something going on in the world that is a little bit more interesting than what people think about Russell Brand? There was it? I mean, in the last day or two, there was a guy in America who was killed by
Yeah.
the police, unarmed, using the death lock.
They are still
And
protesting.
And there's massive protests all over America, and apparently, whether people like Russell Brand or not is more interesting to Sun readers than that.
Brand said that when I was poor and I complained about inequality, they said I was bitter. Now I'm rich and complain about inequality, they say I'm a hypocrite. I'm starting to think they just don't want to talk about inequality.
I think he's
Very
right in this
compelling
case.
point.
I think he is actually right. Because he's doing something, at least he's trying. Like, you can't really stigmatize him, like, just because he's rich and he's
No,
an actor.
yeah,
He's, at
it's
least
really not a
among
valid
the
argument.
actor is trying to do something. I mean, I criticize him as well. I think one of the first episode of this program when he actually went after a protest straight to a party, and that's not a good action though. But in this case, like, there is no reason to pick on him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he was criticised quite heavily. I think it was it last year now? He appeared on Newsnight and said quite proudly that he didn't vote and didn't want to play a part in our democratic system.
Yeah.
And I think tried to influence others to do the same.
Yeah, so I didn't buy into it at first, but I mean now the Sun are just targeting him unnecessarily, accusing him of being a hypocrite. It just seems I'm going to be more on Brand's side.
I mean,
than the
you could target Brand for a lot of things, but I don't think hypocrisy is
But
one of
the
them.
question is why? Why they hate Brand? Like, why they are doing this? What?
Yeah, I don't understand
Well, because he's
why
a
they've
celebrity,
taken...
it's a sensationalised story.
I think-
It'll sell papers. It's not really about.
Don't the
truth,
Sun
is it?
try and kind of tap into what people want? And maybe they decided that people don't particularly buy into Russell Brand because there was the Park Life parody. I don't know if you saw it, where it was basically the backing music of Park Life cut with a lot of the long words that Brand was saying in interviews and things like that. And then I guess the Sun took that as people aren't really much of a fan of this whole revolution speak, and then decided to attack him in order to sell papers. But then I think this will backfire on the Sun, because I think that fair enough, people didn't buy into Brand's kind of particular revolutionary sort of speech, but I don't think they disliked it enough for it to be kind of attacked or assaulted in this sort of way, like on headline, in headlines to be attacked.
Oh yeah, there
Yeah,
is really no point. Never seen more unfair survey.
Yeah, he's
You
actually
don't even say among who and where you got the data from.
he's actually
like,
trying to stand for something, I guess, as well. He's trying to help people. He's trying to use his status. Fair enough, it's come quite late, and it's a bit of it seems like a strange kind of, not quite a U-turn, but it seems like a strange change of direction for Russell Brand all of a sudden to try and be
I think he
politically
has
involved.
been gaining momentum for quite a long time, though. Actually,
I mean, I
when
think
you
that,
look at
yeah,
things.
I think that if he sticks with it, he could actually make quite a lot of difference in this country.
I think even someone
because
else
people
would have
do
sued
listen
him.
to him. I mean, look, although it's negative press, he made it to the front page of the Sun. He can influence people, and I think he's got a very loud voice.
He's
and-
more charismatic than any of the politicians that we
Yeah.
currently have.
From
He
the
can get
Twitter
people-
and Facebook number, actually, he is.
Yeah, he can get a lot more people to listen to him.
Yeah,
So as
I
long
think
as
it
the
is
message-
the comedians who are telling the truth, the
As long as the
politicians.
message is on. Yeah, I guess he's a comedian that instead of making jokes about politicians and things like that, is just making jokes at them
Yeah.
and talking at them. I think he could make a lot of difference in this country, and he could change things. Whether it will be for the better or not is a different question, but I think he has the possibility to change things. And I think the Sun are just trying to...
to create a bit of a rift, I think.
Yeah,
is what
I think they're
doing.
trying to tap into
Um,
something that they think the people are feeling, and I think that they might have got it wrong. And this is going too far as well. There was a Sun calling him a hypocrite in I think it was an op-ed piece initially. Am I right, Jim? Do you know?
No, I don't.
Oh, come on, James. I think it was an op-ed
Jim's
piece.
asleep over there.
Wake up, James. Wake
Actually,
up.
no, I'm really awake. But yeah, it's interesting. Russell Brand nowadays. I mean, before we had it with Guy Fawkes Day and people attacking him for being.
He was part of the protest when they
then
part
left
of the
early to go attend a musical. And
Yeah,
it's just like,
that's what I was talking about before.
exactly.
You were
So
saying
it's all
that.
that issue, Russell Brand. He does good stuff, but you have to wonder what is the media's hatred against him as an individual,
We were talking about this today, actually, weren't we? This Channel 4's initial kind of attack on him for being a hypocrite about his house and things like that.
Yeah, he had the
House
Channel
and-
4 ask him how much was.
And it seemed like kind of an assault on him, sort of thing. Like they were criticising him for it, sort of thing. But then I was thinking, does anyone know who the journalist was who approached him? But I mean, imagine Channel 4 journalist.
But I think
Probably
it's the
fairly well
same.
off.
It's the same logic of criticize someone that is a rock star, pop star, whatever, and gives money for charity, and they keep saying, "Hey, why you live in this castle almost, and you're giving money," saying whatever.
Yeah, you know what? They really can't win. If you are donating money and seem to be a bit of a saintly figure, then you get slated by the press for.
You're not a
Yeah,
saint.
for-
You
yeah,
probably
not
have
being
enough for
sincere.
yourself and many others.
But if you don't donate, then you're incredibly selfish and nasty and frugal. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation, I think.
Yeah, you donate to charity, people will assume that you're
Yeah,
only
look at
doing it for
Bob-
the tax
look
breaks.
at Bob Geldof, and I do think that Band Aid is incredibly insensitive and inaccurate. But the guy was trying to do a good thing, and I don't think it was badly meant. And he got absolutely slated. And I think would it have been worse if he just did nothing?
I hate Bono though.
Oh, I agree. They are both incredibly irritating, but that's beside the point.
Right, and just another latest evening news. Evening Standard has published a story about a postman relieving himself on the property of another private property of an individual.
What did he do?
So
Relieved himself.
a camera
Oh,
caught.
weeing?
Yeah,
Is that what it means?
a camera caught a Royal Mail
Surely
postman
not.
relieving himself in the driveway of a London home. It's apparently jogging. And it's
While he was on duty,
he was in
an
uniform.
on-duty postman.
The uniform, but he will say he looks not like my usual postman, so I don't know.
The Royal Mail has just gone to pot, hasn't it? I mean, really.
And they bear the Queen's name. How dare they? Had he been drinking?
No one knows. So people were saying, you're a professional, you're meant to be in uniform, you should know what to do, and on this route quite often, you should know where to go and relieve yourself.
That is a good point.
Surely
That
there
is a
are
good
more-
point.
That's a good point, but the second argument is also that for a driver who also works on the street as well, says that he is sympathetic, although he had never done the same. Driving around all day and being so busy, sometimes there is not a lot you can do when you need to go. He must have thought it would be harmless and wouldn't get caught. So
How far was the toilet?
no one. Oh,
It could have been miles.
I don't know. I mean, honestly,
I mean, how many
You're
times?
Actually, I mean, question:
It's a
if
tricky
the
one.
postman was like, "Excuse me, sir, can I use your bathroom in your room? Would you let him into your room?"
No. Yeah, but
Exactly. See, like,
in how many occasions have you been out on a night out and you know what toilet facilities are like when you've been drinking, you're out on the street, like the tube? Have you never needed to go to the toilet on a tube journey?
I don't know.
Apart
You
from the
think
fact that you have to pay
I know-
£1
I know what they
for
are.
that.
There is no toilet on the
exactly.
tube.
It's like, can I find them? So I was like, I give
Exactly.
up.
So you have to go where you can go as soon as you get off, and sometimes you have to pay. I can't afford 30p to go to the toilet.
30p?
30p is
£1
unbelievable.
sometimes.
Where are you going?
No,
obviously.
in the
Upmarket
suites.
toilet.
in the tube suites.
But yeah, would anyone open the door to anyone saying, "I need to go pee"?
I read once. I'm probably talking nonsense now, but I think it's common law in Scotland that if somebody needs a wee and knocks on your door, you have to let them in.
Love Scotland.
Traditionally,
That's quite nice, actually.
Scotland
Yeah.
does sound like quite a good country, so that could
Yeah.
actually be true.
if only
you-
Ali were here to.
Yeah, if only the angry Scot was here to confirm.
We've got this
We will ask
He's
him.
asleep
Sure.
right now.
tired. Okay, I'm gonna go back to.
No, I like that
Please-
story. I
please
like
don't
that
quote
story.
me on
Story,
it.
story, isn't it? Yeah, it makes you think about.
Can we come back to that
It's a
story?
very
Well,
controversial
what else do we have to talk
topic.
about it? I mean, what else do you want to
Well, I
talk
mean, if you're a pregnant woman, can't you pee in a policeman's
Yes,
helmet?
yeah.
Ah, yeah, see, exactly, yeah.
Is that English common law?
That is English law,
Yeah.
yeah, I believe that is. But then isn't there also something that you can shoot someone from
It's
Wales
really
if you're in
English common
Bath
law.
in the evening or something like that? But yeah, no, could you not? I mean, could you not find an alleyway? When I'm out and I'm drinking and I need to go to the toilet, the last place I try and go is
A toilet?
someone's driveway. Or yeah, the last place I look for is a toilet. I look for everywhere else first. But then if I can't find a toilet, then I try and go in someone's driveway. But you got to find an alleyway.
or bushes.
Or go in
bush.
your own van. Just go on the post.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm
not
glad that we
quite.
cleared that one up.
No, we clear what he does. I'll just be tired. We're gonna go to a bit more funky song. I'll keep you up and wait. This is Uptown Funk with Mark Ronson. That was Michael Bublé with It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. And unfortunately, it isn't actually beginning to look like Christmas. It's feeling like Christmas because it's freaking cold outside, but it's not looking like Christmas yet. There's no snow. Actually, interesting. Were you guys there in the Hampton Centre when they had a fake snow machine at the entrance?
Where's
I
the
did.
Hampton Centre? Is that on campus?
That's
I did believe it was snow.
But it was a bit bleak, wasn't it? It was just a
Yeah.
I just
little
felt
bit
like, why
grey
would you
coloured
need snow?
foam.
Like, why would you need fake snow? Is it like...
Apparently, it is supposed to snow soon. Did you read that? on the
Wasn't it
Telegraph?
Wasn't it this week or last week that
Yeah.
it was supposed
This
to snow and it
weekend.
didn't come about?
Oh, really?
You're
It's
the average
definitely
English
cold
people
enough,
that are
isn't it?
starting to talk about weather
Yeah,
when they don't know
sorry.
what to say.
Totally. That's what we come
Just
now.
because you get all
No
sorts of weather where
conversation.
you're from. We get nothing. This is it. This is what we get every day.
So, the 24th Bond movie has been announced, and the title is Spectre, after the evil global terrorist organization was first introduced by Ian Fleming in the 1961 novel Thunderball. So, Spectre, which is an acronym for Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge and Extortion, marks the definitive return to old-school 007 territory on behalf of Bond production company Eon and studio Sony. Daniel Craig will begin the role of 007 for the fourth time, and the film will begin shooting in London, Rome, Mexico City, the Alps, and Morocco next week. And Bond will drive a new Aston Martin DB10.
Why are they filming in
Can
Rome?
I say
Why are
something?
they filming in Rome?
Cause we have an important news. We have an Italian Bond girl.
Do we really have it?
Aren't
Yeah, we do
Oh, yeah,
have.
Are they not?
We have 2 Bond girls this time.
Are they not all Italian?
No. One is French, is Léa Seydoux, and she's actually quite young. She's 29. Whereas we have Monica Bellucci, and he's the oldest blonde girl we have ever had.
How old is
She
she?
does not look
I'm
it.
so proud.
She does not look it. She
Yeah,
bad.
Italian
She bad.
pride all coming from that studio. So proud of the Yeah, I mean, it's
terrible
quite
in here.
interesting. Do you think she'll be the one he saves or the one who's the villain? Which do you think she'll play?
Villain.
Oh.
I'm going villain.
Oh, I
She's
don't
got that.
know. She has this really, really nice French accent as well.
French.
What? She's
Yeah,
Really?
because
What?
I
she's
think
a
she
50-year-old
was
Italian,
living.
but she has a French
Yeah,
accent.
because she moved. I think she's married with a Frenchman, actually a French actor.
So she's not.
No,
Really?
not really.
She's not
No, she is
really.
Italian. She's 100% Italian, but she moved in Paris or something. I think I'm not really. Up
I
to
always
date with
remember her
gossip.
as she was the voice of one of the characters in Prince of Persia.
It could be.
Quite a long time ago.
You remember the weirdest thing? I remember her from The Matrix. She was the wife.
Yeah.
of
She
the,
was, yeah. She was
the wife
married
of,
to that French guy in that,
Yeah.
actually, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
Oh, she looks very Italian.
She was
Sorry.
always-
I'm actually just looking at her on Google, and she's
Racist.
stunning.
Yeah,
She-
she
she's
bad.
been-
She bad.
She
Shooted
looks
by Dolce
very
and Gabbana
classy.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Dolce-
really
She was in
Gabbana.
Shoot 'Em Up as well with Clive Owen. Did anyone see that?
No, I didn't.
That was a
Never
good
seen
movie.
that.
How have you all missed that?
That one, yeah,
Haven't
I'm
clue.
So
just-
blonde or brunette? Because Leah Seydoux is
brunette,
blonde
brunette.
and Monica is.
No, she was a brunette.
Brunette.
I'm talking about Monica Bellucci.
Mm.
Don't question me.
Right. Sort of a weird. Interesting.
Are we done? Are we done with the James Bond talk?
Yeah, we are a little bit. Actually, no. Actually, I mean,
There's
so far we've had Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and now Spectre. How would you rate those 3 movies?
Quantum of
I've
Solace sucked.
You did actually. It
Absolutely terrible.
I
I have
can't
no idea
remember
what that
which
film
one's
was about.
which.
Neither
That
do
was
I.
terrible. Please, you agree
Hang
with
on,
you
no,
agree
which,
with that one?
which
don't
one
you?
was Quantum of...
did. Second one.
How many have there been now? 3?
There have been 3 with
3
Daniel
with
Craig.
Daniel Craig.
I've seen the first one.
Yeah, Casino Royale,
Oh,
good
yeah.
movie.
That was good.
Good
I like
movie.
I like Eva Green. She was really good in that film.
Yeah, that was actually something different. It wasn't a James Bond film as far as I'm concerned though. It was just like a separate spy movie that was not of the same theme, I would
Yeah.
say. Quantum of Solace. Yeah,
Skyfall
terrible.
was good.
Why was it so terrible?
The story didn't really make
Yeah,
any
it
sense.
made absolutely no sense.
It-
Well,
there
they
was-
never do to me. That's why.
No, but I
No, I
like
think
Skyfall
usually
was
they're
quite
pretty
good.
good.
I don't really have the attention span to watch James Bond.
I'm gonna
It's
beat
a bit long,
myself,
isn't
but
it?
I think I've seen just one James Bond movie.
In,
And you're in the
wait, as in like just one Daniel Craig, or one of each James Bond, or just one James Bond movie ever?
I think pieces of the other good James Bond movie and just one entire Daniel
Which
Craig.
which one have you seen for all the way through?
I guess the last one. I can't really
Skyfall.
remember.
Skyfall, good movie.
Skyfall, yeah.
James, what's your
I got-
verdict
I
on
got
Skyfall?
That
yeah.
was good.
I remember the
Very
Adele
Batman inspired as well, though.
song.
Very Batman inspired.
Yeah,
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Javier Bardem's good.
everybody was good.
Federica, please
Watch James
Don't.
Bond movie.
watch James Bond movies. Watch GoldenEye. Just watch GoldenEye.
Yeah,
What a
I'm gonna
classic.
spend my weekend doing that.
Yeah, all 24.
You're right.
All 20.
a Bond marathon.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut to a small little news, little discussion as well. Apparently, in an article with The Guardian, law to ban wild animals in UK circuses has been blocked by 3 Tory MPs. So, a new law that's going to ban it has been blocked by Tory backbenchers, despite personal support of David Cameron, the government, Labour, and over 90% of the British public. The bill has been blocked for the 7th time, and the issue is that dozens of lions, tigers, zebras, and camels are still being used in challenge circuses, and in 2012, the government has pledged to outlaw what Cameron called an outdated practice, but since the draft law in 2013, it has since then failed to pass it. So one of the Tory MPs who's blocked it said that the circus is a great British institution, which has proved that it has high standards of welfare, which are obviously part of it, and strongly believes that it deserves to be defended against propaganda and exaggerations. None of the animals have been taken from the natural habitats, all are from several generations of animals born in captivity. I believe it would be much more cruel to remove them from the life they've always been known in living and performing with their living owners in the environment they're accustomed to. Yeah, what do you make of this, guys?
I think it needs to be stopped, really. I agree with the idea that it's completely outdated, and you can't not mistreat an animal in that sort of circumstance. I think that the only way that you could have animals in that sort of captivity to get them to perform in that way could only be mistreating them. I've never seen I've seen horses in a in a circus in Britain, but I've never seen any other animals.
No,
No
not
lions?
actually. Yeah, I don't
No,
think it's
no.
very PC, is it?
No, I didn't
it's
think it was.
really-
I honestly
didn't
didn't think
know
it was done
really
anymore.
done.
I thought since Dumbo that stuff had all been
Oh.
outlawed.
I've seen many times lion and tiger.
Really?
in
Is that what?
circus.
Not in this country or in this?
No,
country?
in my country.
Oh.
Well,
How
that's
do
Yeah.
you feel about that?
You have different standards.
I've never loved circus and
What animals
So
have you seen
much.
in the circus?
I think lion, tiger, horses, probably monkeys.
Monkeys.
Yeah. I guess that's all.
Well, there was that controversial. Was it Channel 4 or I don't know. One of the channels made a program about the killer whales attacking their.
Oh no, that was a
trainers,
documentary.
and
That's
it was the same sort of
Blackfish.
thing,
That was
you
a
know,
huge documentary.
about dolphins and how it's really cruel to keep them in tanks.
Yeah, just swimming around in
which it
circles,
is,
sort of
yeah.
thing.
But
Yeah.
I was really, really young, and probably the law changed. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've never honestly seen, even when I've seen the Moscow State Circus in this country, and they didn't have any animals at all. They just abused human beings by the looks of it,
Which is
I guess
fine.
it changed.
which is fine.
Which is
Human
preferable.
beings, yeah. I mean, they're just asking for it, aren't they?
They
Really?
can consent.
You can do acrobatic thing, and
Yeah.
that's all.
And the horses are kind of stupid, so
Horses are not stupid at all.
horses aren't too smart.
They are used it with dolphin a lot for therapy, so they are not stupid at all.
Do you like horses by any
Also.
chance?
I do like horses.
Okay, right, horses. Yeah, actually about the weather, actually. Apparently the Independent has
Let's
published
not
saying
get. Are we talking about the weather?
an icy polar blast has headed for the UK this weekend. So
Does that mean
apparently,
snow?
icy polar blast, I don't know what that means. Let me just look it up.
It sounds like it could mean snow.
Do you want snow though? I don't know what that
Yes,
is.
I love
Yeah,
snow.
I would never say no to
absolutely
snow.
love snow.
So snow, ice, and freezing winds expected as polar wind sweeps across.
Oh, I'm really not down with freezing winds.
Yeah, neither am I.
God,
It's
I
horrible.
could do without that.
Buzzkills.
A spokesperson for the Met Office told the Independent that it would likely only northern parts of Scotland, Ireland, and Wales may
Scotland
see
get all the
showers
luck,
turning to
don't they?
sleep with danger of ice. I don't know.
I need some snow. I want to go sledding.
There's no hills
Actually
here
saying
though.
that, Oxbridge is quite flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to get home. I need some hills.
Sarah, what song did you want from Coldplay?
I really wanted. I'm gonna have to sing it because I don't know what it's called.
Is it called Christmas Lights?
Light and yeah.
All right, this
thank you
is
for-
Christmas Lights by
You're saved
Coldplay.
you're saved from
I
the
have I
karaoke
know what you're
performance.
thinking. All right, you are listening to
been saved this
the
time.
Fourth Estate on Radio Brunel.
Regrettably.
Here is Christmas Lights by Coldplay.
Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way.
Good afternoon. The time now is 5:16, and you're listening to the Fourth Estate on Radio Brunel, the show that is talking to you about the top news and top issues of the week. We've already covered the top headlines of the week, talking about The Guardian, the BBC, coverage about George Osborne's autumn statement. We talked a little bit about the new Bond film, among other things. Now, there's a lot to cover. There's been a lot happening this week so far. I mean, it's about where do we start? So today I'm joined by Alex, Federica, and Sarah. Did anything really catch your eye over the week? This from Monday to Friday, guys.
Yes, the
Yes.
the Monster Raving Loony Party have just released their
Alex,
manifesto,
you were just waiting.
and me and
I'm
Alex
really
are
excited about it.
loving
Absolutely hilarious.
it.
All right,
name,
go
to
ahead.
name a few of their policies, we will make it illegal for superheroes to use their powers for evil. Was one of my particular favourites.
Oh, damn it.
I know. Sorry, Jim.
They just
You
kind
missed
of
a
old.
trick there.
Alex at least is gonna
Yeah.
vote.
My
Yeah.
experiments with spiders have completely gone out the window now.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no point. I mean, does that count if you are not actually a superhero, but you're just really, really rich and you spend all that money on a suit? Or, I mean, does it have to be literally superpowers?
Yeah,
Like your
that's
genes
very
have to be
true.
changed. What about mutants as well? I mean, this is really
I
completely.
don't
that
think there is
really
a legal
is-
definition of what defines as superhero.
I
so-
think that you could
What
find
what
one.
power would you like to have?
What
What
specific
superpower?
power or which
What
super?
superpower?
hot topic.
Oh, that's a tricky one because there's a specific superhero that I would obviously like to be.
Yeah, I know.
Which is?
Obviously,
is?
Spider-Man.
Come on.
Clearly,
Why Spider-Man?
Obviously.
Spider-Man has the best techers in the game.
I don't like Spider-Man very much.
You don't like. Who would you be then, James?
Batman, obviously.
He's not a superhero.
Yeah, he's a superhero.
He actually,
Come on.
he actually
Technically,
isn't.
he isn't. He's a rich guy.
Yeah.
He's a rich guy that knows kung fu.
Then I would be Green
That
Lantern.
loves
Green
wearing
Lantern's
black.
quite good because that basically means you can do anything.
Yeah.
That is essentially what that means. Being Green Lantern. That's a
So,
strong
Sarah,
argument.
any other tweets from the...
Oh, so many. I mean, I could go on for hours.
Go for it.
We will reduce the voting age to 5 years old to reflect the behaviour of our current MPs.
Oh,
Bad.
shots fired. Yes.
We will introduce a 99p coin to save on change.
Oh,
This is a great one. Very good pun. We will superglue unruly teenagers together. If you can't beat them, you may as well join them.
oh, yes.
They are hilarious.
That is.
I think they're
it
gonna
just made
follow
my
it.
day.
That's
I
the
can
sort of-
vote, but
That's the sort of party I can get on board with. Actually, that is pretty. That's just
Yeah.
poignant stuff.
That's going to
Exactly.
be great.
No,
That's-
they're
that's
the
for
only
an
party that really
internship.
makes sense. I
Yeah,
think we'll
they're a
agree.
party that really appeal to my more immature side.
So, before we go on to other news, Philippines is going to brace itself for Typhoon Hagupit, which is sweeping across towards the eastern coast of the island nation, with 1,000 people being evacuated and ports have been shut. According to the U.S. Joint Typhoon Warning Center, JTWC, the storm has already reached its strongest intensity, but will still be a Category 4 typhoon when it will touch down on land over the weekend. So to anyone who's listening from the Philippines,
a bit. They are quite prepared since the last
A lot of
time
people
was
evacuated,
a
haven't they?
huge disaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
6,000
And
people
they
die.
are not that scared in the capital, Manila, whereas like in the suburbs, it's quite high the risk because it's obviously less organized. So
Mhm.
that's all I know about it.
I think 6,000 people was it last year died
Gosh,
at
yeah.
the previous
There
typhoon.
was-
Terrible, and they've actually prepared a little bit better now. And
Yeah, they're really scared
I
about
think those things are
typhoon.
terrifying. We're so lucky in
And
this
we were
country that
complaining
nothing
about a
interesting.
bit of snow.
bit of
coming
snow.
to
Yeah.
freezing winds,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
so lucky in this country that nothing terrible like ever happens in terms of weather and natural disasters and things like that. Imagine just watching that coming towards your house and thinking tomorrow morning,
My
Gonna
house
have
is not going to be
nothing.
here,
Gonna
and you're
not
not
own
really
anything.
sure that you are going to be here.
yeah,
So.
Hopefully I'm safe on the top floor. We'll see about that.
no,
In
Not
other
with
news, the BBC has said France has agreed to pay Holocaust SNCF rail payout with the US. So the France and the US have agreed a compensation package for Holocaust victims deported by a French rail company during World War II. A 60 million compensation fund paid for by the government of France has been announced, with reparations will be paid to those transported by state rail company SNCF to Nazi concentration camps. The U.S. lawmakers had previously attempted to bar SNCF from rail contracts because of its actions in World War II. The rail company moved 76,000 Jews to Nazi camps during the Holocaust. Only about 3,000 individuals survived. The company have argued that the company was forced by occupying German army to assist in the deportations. So it's a bit of an interesting news, I think, a bit of a sad.
It's quite out of the blue as well. I've not particularly heard anything about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I guess it does
Me
make
neither.
sense. I guess all of a sudden you can... I guess it's right. But then it's such a long time.
Yeah, it's been like, what,
I mean,
60 years now? Yeah.
Is it going to the actual survivors? Are there still people alive that... Or is it their family members or what? Do you know?
So according to U.S. negotiator Stuart Eisenstadt, survivors could receive up to $100,000 US dollars each, while spouses of
That's a lot of
heirs
money.
could get tens of thousands of dollars. Under the deal, survivors as well as their spouses or descendants will receive compensation, and thousands could be eligible, including citizens of Israel, Canada, and the U.S.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I get. But then you've got to think, so the French government is paying that money. Is that right?
Yeah,
On behalf of a French company at the time.
yeah, French rail company.
Just a French rail, just standard French rail company that
Yeah.
happened to be. It's a strange situation that the government will be paying for a company that probably doesn't exist anymore.
No, it's still there.
They still exist, are they?
Yeah,
But the
But
company
what I'm
aren't
curious
paying
is
it.
that why isn't Germany paying for it? Because it obviously is a World War II thing.
And France was occupied at the time.
Exactly.
France wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, we'll just ship these Jews to be murdered just for the
No.
chuckles of it. They surely you would assume only have done that under duress.
Yeah.
But then saying that, the company would have made a lot of money out of a contract with the Germans because you assume they're going to be paid.
Yeah.
Seeing as it's an existing company, the Germans aren't just going to commandeer a company. Yeah, no, it's a very strange situation though. But I guess reparations need to be paid if people were kind of put through harm and a company benefited from that.
Okay. In other news, did you know there was a prison book ban, and it's now ruled unlawful by the High Court. So the ban was done by the government on sending books to prisoners in England and Wales. Under the current rules, prisoners are prevented from receiving parcels unless they have an exceptional circumstance, such as a medical condition. And now it has been proved that ban was to be unlawful. You can send books. So I mean, it's interesting to have that sort of ban in the first place, banning sending books to prisoners. What do you think about this?
Banning sending books to prisoners.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that's a really terrible thing, actually, because I think lots of prisoners are sadly very undereducated, and to be able to read would probably be of great benefit to them.
No, I think that is. I
Like,
think that
why,
really is a
why they
shame.
are banning this? Are they scared that they can send them something in the books? Or
So
like,
it was introduced in November last year as part of a scheme which limits what prisoners can receive in parcels. The Incentives and Earned Privileges scheme was brought in partly as an attempt to crack down on drugs getting into prisons.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But still.
tricky. There's always
Yeah.
one that ruins it for everyone.
Yeah,
isn't
there's
there?
always one drug dealer in prison that ruins.
I just
books
want to
for everyone
read.
else.
Just want to give me a book. Just want to
I
give me.
think it is a great shame, though.
I just want my drug. Send me a book.
Yeah.
No, that is
That is sad stuff.
yeah, that is a shame because especially seeing as isn't a whole part of going to prison, rehabilitation, and a lot of education as well, and things like that, aren't
Yeah.
there? I think there's a massive.
And I think,
Yeah,
I
how
mean,
can you
have you
ban
seen the
the
Shawshank
books?
Redemption books? Made a huge difference to those prisoners' lives.
They did.
And-
They did escape though.
couldn't they just check it
That's true.
before the?
Yeah,
going
yeah,
in?
that's a good point.
Like,
Can they not?
'cause
You would
then-
assume that they would kind of screen
mean,
all.
Like they have these huge devices for airport and any places. Why they can't actually use something for?
You'd assume that they
delivering book
screen all
inside.
parcels that come through anyway.
I
They're
mean,
not just
if
going
they
to give a
ban
parcel to
them,
someone.
even books, what they are meant to do.
Yeah, and how are they sneaking the drugs in? I mean, do you think they do the whole kind of cut the pages out of the book?
I
if you
don't
know what I mean?
I would
think because
like to
that's
know,
this
no.
like opening probably is not that evident. You know, like
Yeah, I was thinking like when you cut the middle of the
Yeah.
pages out of a book and then stash it in there.
But
and
I
they do
think
something
that
like
it's like if you open the book, you will notice immediately.
Yeah,
So
It's
I
quite
think that there might be a bit of sneaky way to.
that must be terrible to be addicted to drugs in prison.
I'm
Or
sure.
It would be
just
terrible
anywhere.
to be
Yeah,
addicted
exactly.
to right anyway.
No, yeah, worse than prison if you can't get them. At least when you're outside, you can get drugs.
So, in
Every
such
cloud.
more light news as well, according to the Times today, vintage mobile phones are now sought after. Scarlett Johansson, Rihanna, and Kate Beckinsale have been snapped holding clamshell phones or other vintage handsets. Apparently, the article in the Times speculates that older phones don't hold much data, so are less vulnerable to embarrassing hacks. Embarrassing data hacks. But I mean, why would you carry a vintage phone?
No,
It
I
depends.
think that's actually a fair thing for celebrities to do.
Depends what you've got.
Yeah,
Those flip
given
phones.
recent
So they've got
history.
flip phones. Is that what you're saying? That's ridiculous.
Like the
Yeah,
easy
the
phone
clamshell.
Who
that
runs a
can
f-
help not to be hacked.
I mean, if you're talking about a phone if you're talking 3210 that cannot be broken, then I'm okay with it. Because I spent a lot of money on iPhone screens. And I would happily go back to a 3210
I
now.
do miss a flip phone. They were
What, just the way
fun,
that you
weren't they?
answer
Such
it
a
and it
novelty,
feels really, yeah.
Although the downside of a flip phone is that no caller ID. So as soon as you open the phone, you've
got to
answered
talk
the
to that
call.
person.
Yeah.
But
The
that'd be good
iPhone,
actually.
you
That'd be
can
quite nice.
screen.
You'd be like, "Hi, how are you? Who are you, by the way? How'd you get my number?"
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, Jim, that's not what you need. though.
Because I've got a £500 Facebook device now, basically. That is what my phone is used for.
Mm.
And it doesn't work very well either.
Mm.
No, I'm a big fan.
Why can't we just go back to the good old days?
I had an iPhone and then they stole my iPhone.
That's a nice
so-
Samsung you got there, actually.
Thank you.
I mean, what was that,
Mm.
30 quid?
Yeah, around that.
It's a good phone. No, I mean, you can buy a phone for 50 pence these days, can't you? Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, and then be locked with a company for the rest of your life.
No, you can buy a phone for £10 and 50 pence plus £10 credit.
Okay.
I know that because I've lost a lot of iPhones.
Oh, nice. Thank you. I will do that.
So just a little snapshot, little tweet before we go to another song. Apparently, average rail fares in England will go up by 2.2% from January 2nd.
I saw that today. Some increased by around about 245%. I think some fares have
Wow.
actually increased
But I
over
mean,
the last
they're
few years.
already extortionate.
I know, so
How
much
can
money.
anybody afford to travel by train? I don't know.
I know, when it's especially on the London line when it can be 100 quid
Yeah.
to
Crazy.
go wherever you're going and things like that. I think I can't really afford to go home very often. I don't know about
No.
you guys because you live down near me, don't you, Sarah? And it's
Yeah,
very
I do.
expensive to get down
So
on the
expensive.
Exeter line.
Luckily, I've got a dad who.
But- Yeah, that's what I try and do. I
Lovely,
try and give the whole.
comes-
Well, I
Lucky
can't-
you got a
I can't
dad.
go home.
I do have a dad, believe it or not.
But then again, we shouldn't complain because I suppose £100 is not much compared to.
What Freddie has to do to get home.
Yeah, Freddie, how much is it? Actually, it's probably 30 quid for you to get home, isn't it?
Easy
No.
to
Italy's
fly
quite
there.
cheap to fly home.
No, not in this period.
Is it not?
No. During Christmas, you can have €200 flights.
Jim, how about you? How much is it to get home?
Like £700.
Oh, yeah, we shouldn't be moaning, really, should we?
Exactly.
We could get a coach for £3 as well, so.
Alex, any song requests from you?
Yeah, go on, I got one for you. It's a Christmas song.
Which is?
Technically. Right Where You Want Me to Be by A Day to Remember.
What?
Why that song
It's
by?
not a classic Christmas song.
It is my classic Christmas song.
I'm
You
sorry.
suggested Mariah Carey. I'm not okay with that.
That's the most classic of all Christmas songs.
Don't worry, James, it's not that heavy.
Was it called again?
Right Where You Want Me to Be.
Please don't have it. Please don't have it. Please don't have it.
Why?
Unfortunately, we have it. This is Right Where You Want Me to Be.
I can't
by A Day
believe
to
that you are being
Remember.
prejudiced against my
Don't
music
judge
taste.
song. This is Alex's favourite song on Paris Christmas. That was Frank Sinatra with Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow from his album Christmas Songs by Sinatra. And you are listening to The Fourth Estate on Radio Brunel's University Student Run Station. And today I am joined by Alex, Federica and Sarah on this glorious Friday, sleepy afternoon actually. So across the pond we got a little bit of story. A US couple say, sorry kids, Christmas is cancelled. So, it's cancelled now, apparently.
Well, is that like a... No, that's not an international thing, is it?
No, it's not.
Christmas isn't cancelled.
And they mean
Is
it,
Christmas
apparently.
cancelled?
No, it's not.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
It's just for their family.
So-
Okay, that's fine.
John and Lisa Henderson from Utah were fed up with the three boys' ungrateful, entitled, and disrespectful behavior and have cancelled Christmas. So that means they will not receive presents
That's
on
such
Christmas
a
morning.
cruel thing.
Instead of writing letters to Santa asking for gifts, they will be asking him to find someone who needs their presents more.
Oh,
Apparently, we gave them good warning. Either it was time for the behavior to change or there would be consequences. And they worked with them for several months, and guess what? Very little had changed. One day after a particularly bad day of entitlement, John said, we should just cancel Christmas. And so that's what we did. Instead of spending time and money on presents, the family had been carrying out community-service projects with their sons to teach them the pleasure of giving rather than continuing to feed their child desire. Yeah,
I don't think the kids are going to see it that way. I'm really enjoying this giving, Mum. Thanks for the opportunity to give everything away.
No, come on. How can you? Can you cut Christmas?
You can cancel
like,
Christmas.
It's the best period of the year. You can't do that.
Don't cancel Christmas. Don't cancel Christmas.
Yeah, like.
Come on, Freddie, keep it together.
The
Hold it together.
happiness of waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to see if Santa came.
how the hell do you wake up that early?
Do you not wake up that early on Christmas?
No.
I woke up that early last Christmas,
I like to
and I
wake
was
up early on
21.
Christmas Day.
I was
just
21
so
I
you
woke
can
up
make
that
the most
early.
of it, you know? It comes but
I love
once a year
Christmas.
for every boy
But
and
what
girl.
I love actually is because I have a brother. So when I was living at home, what happened is we have 8 years of difference. That I was coming back home completely
Older or younger?
wrecked. Younger. I was coming back home completely wrecked, going maybe like to sleep at 5, and he was actually waking me up at 7, asking me about Santa.
I don't like drinking on Christmas Eve.
Well,
I think
why?
I
Because
don't see it
don't
as a
think you
Christmas.
can fully enjoy Christmas.
Exactly.
Day.
I woke up. I don't see it as like a drinking opportunity. I see it as like I'm going to be 5 years old again and get really excited by presents and stuff. I woke up once on Christmas Day hungover, and it was miserable.
At all.
I had a
I
nap.
just went to bed late.
Yeah, but you were drunk.
I know
You
was
don't
a
get drunk. You just said you were trashed.
a bit.
You don't
the
get
word
drunk on
wasted,
Christmas,
I
as
think.
far as I'm concerned. But I
do.
love Christmas.
We do.
I get up well early.
Okay.
Christmas dinner. Christmas dinner is the best meal of the year. Who was
Oh,
it?
because we have the lunch. That's why we have the lunch of Christmas more than the Christmas dinner.
No, I suppose that's the same thing. What do you guys call it?
What?
Christmas dinner. You call it Christmas dinner?
Anyway, there is one more day left to vote for Times Person of the Year. So they've
What are
got
the options? What are the
50
options?
candidates. So just looking at the picture they've got, we'll just pick 4 of them actually. Barack Obama, Angela Merkel, Pope Francis,
Nope.
and Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer
Hang on.
Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence out of those four.
What was the
Times Person of the Year.
person of the year?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
They obviously got more
It's a
people
big
than
deal.
that, but I mean, they put on the Twitter page is mostly Barack Obama, Angela Merkel, and Pope Francis and Jennifer Lawrence.
Who would
Why
you
Jennifer
vote
Lawrence?
for? Who would you guys vote for?
It's
I mean, out of anyone in the world that you could vote for as Person of the Year.
Myself.
it's like Mary.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah,
Mary Kill.
I'd vote for Jim. I'd vote for Jim as Person of
what's
the
like
Year.
the criteria to be listed?
Come
as,
on,
I
you don't need
don't-
a criteria. You just
you
have to be
don't.
Person of the Year. You just have to be great.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they're all great for many different reasons, but
Jennifer
can't
Lawrence
really
doesn't
accurately
quite.
compare.
I mean, Pope,
fit in that.
Pope
No, it
Francis
doesn't.
is.
Pope
I'm
Francis
not-
is amazing.
I'm not religious in any way, but Pope Francis is
I'm
actually
not as
compared
well,
compared
but-
to previous popes, he's pretty decent. He's actually
It's not just pretty decent. It's
He's a
just
good- he's a
dealing
good
with
dude. He's a good dude.
topic that
He's a-
they
he's a
were even
realist.
talking about before. Yeah.
he's a realist. Who else? Obama has killed a lot of people in the last year. I'm not too okay.
Obama is a great man.
He's-
losing his.
He's slipping, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did anyone see the joke about him killing the Jonas Brothers with a drone strike? That's
No.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
that was a little bit, not quite, a little bit too far for me.
Mm.
But seeing as he has actually killed
I
quite a
think
lot of
it's
people
still
with
like
drones.
it's still a great person. Come on, 8 years in that position,
Yeah.
and how can
President
you...
Bush was 8 years in that position.
Yeah, but
Was he a great man? No, I've seen better. No, but I would say that Barack Obama wasn't the person of this year.
no, I don't. I wouldn't say that.
What about
It's
George
actually
Osborne?
the-
You a George Osborne fan?
George Osborne. I'm such a George Osborne fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I don't understand why it's not on the list.
No, he had the swimwear shoot of the year as well. That was an absolutely beautiful shoot. Jim, who would you vote for in all seriousness? Person of the year this year?
I need to see the full candidate, but I mean,
Malala's. Surely Malala's got to be a pretty big
yeah, I
deal.
think she
Was
should
that
be-
that was a, I guess the whole
She
was
got a
mostly
Nobel.
over.
Yeah, she
Yeah, but
should
you can
be
win
on that
two.
list.
You can win an Oscar and an Emmy in the same year.
What we're talking
Sorry.
about.
That was a
Okay.
comparison, not.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the time there,
I'm just wondering
James?
any news you want to mention, Sarah?
We have this amazing thing.
That will be cut to the last bit, I think. We'll save the
Okay.
best for last. Actually, let's do the other one we mentioned about the broccoli.
Not that.
This is a ridiculous
So,
story. I
Federica,
don't even understand
Tell us
this.
a bit more about this, Federica. What is this broccoli thing?
There was on the front page of the Daily Express today, broccoli pill fight cancer. Apparently, they found out pills where there's vitamin that broccoli contains as well that can fight cancer and can help fighting cancer. There was this news on the BBC, it was actually in 2002, about a research. And they said that probably this cure would have been available in 7 years, around 7 years. So I'm really bad in math. We are in 2014. How many years?
2021.
21.
A bit more.
Sounds quite far away.
That is a very long way away
Yeah.
for a.
But, I mean, like, we are talking about fighting cancer, I think.
But we're talking about a pill that does the same thing as broccoli. I mean, but what's
Probably, I don't get,
What's-
like, I don't think it's gonna have
I
the
think it
same
will
Okay,
benefit
I'm
effect.
just-
pharmaceutical
obviously, I don't-
companies more than it will benefit women.
I don't know
affected
much
cancer.
about this story, but what can this pill do that broccoli doesn't already do?
Scientists say there could one day, that's the news of 2002, be a broccoli pill that protects women against breast cancer. Researchers from the University of Illinois at Chicago have designed a chemical compound based on a naturally occurring anti-cancer agent found in the vegetable. So that's what vegetable and in particular broccoli probably contains. So I guess they find a way.
Now
I mean,
you will
I
see,
do
like,
think I do believe that broccoli is the Antichrist. Personally,
Why?
I cannot stand broccoli.
Oh, it's the best
That's just-
vegetable.
you eat that?
Yeah.
Really?
That's
You were
disgusting.
probably.
It's my favourite
Did you eat?
vegetable.
What, do you
did
eat it other
broccoli
than-
when you were a child?
Did I what?
Do you eat broccoli when you were a
Oh,
child?
yeah. Love that.
What, like on a regular? You would have like I don't know. You
Like,
should have like chips
believe,
and some broccoli.
Believe it or not, Alex, I would opt to have broccoli now.
That's not.
I would choose it.
That's not okay with me. I see you in a different light now.
Really. Well,
But they say that
Broccoli
anyway,
racist.
it's this synthetic
greens.
compound that they have developed is called oxalate. Don't know exactly if I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
oxalate.
It sounds like kind of something that you would have with broccoli more than anything.
As disgusting as. And it is based on a naturally occurring cancer preventative agent called sulforaphane, which is found in vegetables, including cabbages and Brussels sprout, as well as
Oh,
broccoli.
that sounds.
You will see
Awful.
everyone just rushing to Lidl now, just buying broccoli
Yeah,
and
definitely.
cabbage
Like,
and
they're
Brussels
just
sprouts.
so.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
In
they
7 years'
found
time.
a pill that can help prevent breast cancer.
It would be.
All right, we're going to cut to another quick song, but before we go, let me just ask you guys, what are your plans for the weekend so far?
Oh well, today was deadline day, as you know, Jim.
really?
Because how many hours sleep have you had tonight, Jim?
2.
That would explain today's show. I am sorry to everyone. To everyone I know.
Guys, it's the end of the first term. We are all sorry for that.
Yeah, just wait until Easter. It's going to be even worse. So
Jinx it.
today is deadline day. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting drunk. Jim,
we
you're.
know you are.
I'm having
You've already
fun.
said that so many times. We're getting drunk, we're getting drunk, we're getting drunk.
Are you getting drunk, Jim?
I should. I don't know yet.
It just started.
No, I started at 1, so I'm good to go. That also explains the show. What are you guys doing this weekend?
I'm having a lot of fun this weekend.
Yeah, she is.
Sarah?
Oh, sorry, switched off a little bit there. I'm celebrating the fact that I've handed in my essay. Hooray! I'm going to enjoy the Christmas lights and.
Do you know that some people have
jolly.
finished? Do you know that some people have finished uni already?
Yeah, it makes
Some
sense.
people have actually
Wait, what do
finished
you mean?
lectures already.
But you
as
know
in-
what?
Do
I
they?
think,
That's
I
it,
think
they're
the last
done.
week of university is always so much fun because everyone's so festive. And we had our deadline today as opposed to next Friday.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I'm just hoping that we
So-
watch Shrek in every lecture that we have next week, because it'll be like secondary
Or
school
Home Alone
again.
too.
Home Alone 2, good movie.
I think we planned a Christmas lunch during a lecture for next week.
Wow, you
When?
guys.
You guys did?
Yeah.
What, the MAIJs?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Going
haven't
to
actually
get
planned our
chips.
Christmas meal yet, have we?
Oh yeah, we're meant to, aren't we?
Grace said she was doing it.
Guys,
Guys,
plan
maybe this
plan
is
a Christmas lunch.
We got told
yeah.
to organise our night out tonight on the radio as well.
Okay, yeah. For everyone listening, we're all going out in Central tonight. We'd love for you to come. Meet at the station at what?
What time are we going? That's a good question.
7:30.
7:30?
No, 8. 8.
8
8
o'clock.
o'clock.
Okay, I need
8
to eat
o'clock,
something.
be there.
All right,
Play
we're
the
gonna
song.
play now a classic Christmas song. This is "Walking in the Air" from the Snowman.
I hate this song.
You can't do this song.
Alec James sucks.
We're walking in the air.
That was "Walking in the Air" from the sort of TV film "The Snowman." It's a classic film. Don't you guys agree?
I've actually never seen it.
I've never seen it, but it's a terrible song.
Not a terrible.
It's the
I
whiniest
don't think
music.
I've seen it anyway. Maybe I have.
Federica, have you seen the song, Federica?
No.
It reminds me of Songs of Praise.
Shame.
I'm not an Alec James
I
fan.
didn't say anything exactly for this reason after James Bond, even though the Snowman.
Okay, good. Okay.
Traitor.
Our last story is a very light note. This is the Christmas card competition from the Prime Ministers and MPs. So apparently Nick Clegg has just won Christmas again. So
He won Christmas.
on Christmas. As you know, Tony Blair had his card released last week or this week, and did not look very happy and kind of looked kind of awkward in that picture. The three main party leaders have released their cards today, with the Liberal Democrat leaders apparently the best. Ed Miliband has his wife Justine and his two young sons, and they're just sort of
It looks
decorating
like
cards or
it
something.
looks like a stock photograph for like a cleaning company or something like that. It looks like.
Oh, I think it's quite sweet.
No, I think it looks like a stock photograph where they're
I
advertising
actually
something.
really like
I mean,
it. I would
anything
have-
is good compared to Tony Blair's, isn't it?
I haven't seen
Or bad.
Tony Blair's. Is
Oh.
it bad?
No.
Seriously, it's been trending on social media. I've been loving all of the tweets.
I don't
I
trust.
don't really like Cameron. Like, it's too.
He's
Yeah,
just.
let's watch
he's
Karen,
It's
yeah.
just
very
rubbing it.
formal,
Come
isn't
on.
it?
He's just
Like,
rubbing it
he
in
needs
that
to
he's at
chill
number
out a
10
bit,
now. He's
yeah.
like, guys, back there. That's number 10.
Yeah.
And what
And I'm
have
in
you-
here.
Yeah, and where are you? Oh, right, yeah, you're
So-
finger painting with your kids.
Cameron has him with 11 Chelsea pensioners with his wife Samantha, and they're all just standing in front of 10 Downing Street. And he's black. He's wearing a black suit. Wife's wearing a white dress, while the pensioners are all in red. Very bloody colours in a way.
Yeah. It's quite, because it's really dark in the background as well, and it's
Yeah.
looking really miserable. I think
But
he
there
is
is
just.
no movement in that picture. Like, it's so sad.
Now, I will give it. Clegg's is the best.
They try to
agree.
reproduce the Christmas color, obviously, but
Where's the green?
Yeah, with the
You
green.
You need
they
green.
forgot that.
Yeah, they all forgot the green actually. I still don't trust Ed in that photograph.
No.
No.
Ed's looking a little bit
no.
shady.
Clegg has the green behind, a bit of green
I
behind.
like Nick Clegg's actually. Look,
Yeah,
it-
Clegg's. It's not great, but it's still the best out of
He
all
actually
of
won last year as well, apparently.
them. This is ridiculous. If it's a
You
yearly
can't
thing.
win the.
You're
if
running
you
our
can't win the
country.
company. You have to win the Christmas card.
Yeah, I'm not in government, but I've got the best Christmas card. You are supposed to be running our country, not taking Christmas card photographs. And Ed, stop looking so sketchy in photographs. I don't trust you.
Some fun.
Yeah, I like Nick Clegg. It's like a
You
foot-
like Nick Clegg?
No, I mean it's
Ooh, shots fired.
it's a
Shots
photo boff
unfired.
session for the boff. So the booth session with his wife Miriam, and they're just sort of like a very candid and very spontaneous kind of picture. It's kind of nice to look at actually.
He looks a bit sketchy in those as well, actually. I don't.
Oh, I like him.
I don't
It's- yeah.
Are you going to vote for him?
Yeah, sure. And you got just my vote. Just, it's such a pity. I can't really vote.
Get in the van.
Get in the van.
I love
Get in
this.
the van.
The Telegraph has headline: Christmas party cards. Is Nick Clegg beyond caring?
Yeah, that's a man who already knows he's lost his job.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Are these innocent images designed with to show that the men at the top embrace the season of goodwill like everyone else, or are they due to the general election coming around the corner? Are
Propaganda.
they messages designed to secretly woo voters with deeper meanings?
Okay, what's this? Anyone got any symbolism from any of this
So,
sort of thing?
Apparently, David Cameron is I'm staying put at Downing Street.
yeah, I'm here, you're not, so suck it.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Ed is
Yeah.
apparently I'm a nice guy in a horrible world. Okay.
Why am I doing this? That would be Ed's, I believe.
I think it's probably the first time he's gonna play with. No, that's too harsh. I'm sorry. No, it's really nice, the picture, actually.
He said it's the first time he's
It was
played
the
with his
first time
kids.
he was playing with his
I
kids.
think.
He's probably even too busy to spend that much time with his family and friends.
How much do you think the kids got for that? Money-wise, how much do you think he had to pay his own
Aw.
children?
That's even worse than what I've just said.
And Nick Clegg is, I just don't care anymore. Apparently it's meant to show, in a sense, he's having a lot of fun and not taking things too seriously anymore. He's saying what will be, and there's more to life than politics. Rather than looking too serious, he's being playful.
A man who won't have much of a career in politics anymore next year.
Well, he could always go into photography, I guess. He can be a model for
Yeah,
Christmas
no, he
cards.
could. I would Calvin Klein model.
Yeah, you are.
You were not getting a Calvin
I'm
Klein.
getting the Calvin Klein deal from this radio show.
You-
It's absolutely happening.
There's not a relationship to it. Anyway, we've come to an end to our show. The time is about...
We made it!
56, I know. We finally made it.
It didn't look like we were going to get through this one.
No,
It looked like it was all going to go.
Sorry, guys.
Belly
Thank you
There,
for
there are a few pretty
There are a few sketchy moments,
yeah.
yeah, when it was all going to go a bit Pete Tong. But
Do you like horses?
Tell me what the plot is of Sarah Marshall. Yeah.
that did actually happen.
We just give the listeners what they want.
The people want to know what happened to Sarah Marshall, even though they've seen it.
Next
time, we will literally just show the audio.
Mm.
We'll just play the audio from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Totally.
With commentary.
With commentary.
Right,
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, until then...
Jim, do you like horses?
Yes, I like Anyway, anyway, we are coming to an end, and our next show is Johnny with Gentleman and His Friends. Until then, Alex, Federica, and Sarah say goodbye as always.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Goodbye from me.
I'm so sorry.
You're also
And
sorry.
join us on Monday evening as we do our show as well. Until then, have a good weekend and enjoy Johnny and His Friends.
Bye!
Bye.
That's goodbye from me as well.